What's up, YouTube fans? Today I want to take a look at the Magic Square Tornado, or their version of a masterpiece scale Vortex. So this is the fourth in series of Combaticons from Magic Square in the MP scale. They've already done the Legend scale, and these have been really good. I've been loving what they've been putting out. This one is no exception to that, and it is fully painted. So the gray, blue, black, and red paint you see is all actual paint. Let's put the G1 image there. They nailed the look of this guy. I mean, it really captures that essence of the cartoon. I was pretty much everything. And I was kind of curious about the red on the back of the head, but looking at the G1 image, it has the red. I think maybe that showed up on the bottom or something. I don't know. Maybe it was like indicating lights. But it is accurate. It does have red on the back of his head. Let's go over his articulation. Head is on a rotating swivel, gets all the way up to there. That's part of the transformation, but really far up. Down to there. Not really any side to side, but it does rotate around. Shoulders are around a friction joint. Out to the side on friction. You have a rotation here at the bicep. Double jointed elbow, full bend. All the tolerances there are fine, like they're nice and tight. The figure is pretty light overall. There's not really any die cast in it, so it doesn't really need ratchets just because it's so light. Rotation at the wrist, in and out movement at the wrist. Individually articulated fingers, also at a ball joint, so it splays out. There are 2 pins, so you can articulate them fully. Thumb is on a ball joint and a pin. So very well done hands, just like the rest have been. Like they've been nailing it on these hands. Coming to the waist, you have a waist rotation here on a ratchet. You have an ab crunch here, gets down to there. I thought they were going to utilize that for the combined mode, but they don't. I'll show you that later. But it gets all the way down to there. Really well done. This doesn't lock in. Somebody asked me that, so I just want to answer. You can push it in, but it doesn't lock in place. If you wanted to lock in, you could probably like open one of these and have it kind of just sitting up against this to kind of lock it. Not the best idea, but I just want to say it doesn't really have a locking mechanism. So it does move on you. Coming down the legs, you have hip skirts. I don't love how these work, but this is the same as the rest of them. So same design. You have hip skirt on a ratchet will get up to there. I mean, but because of the way it works, it couldn't go all the way up. And then there's a separate joint here. I don't think you need that. I guess to get some backwards motion, you do need that. I just feel like it's unnecessary. I mean, you can get it all the way back if you want. But yeah, it is a separate joint. It's a little wonky the way it works. Out to the side on a ratchet, up to there. So that works. Rotation at thigh, running universal. A double jointed knee. So it almost gets you past, I mean, it does get you past 90. Let's see. No, yeah, it gets you the full bend. So you just have to bend the top one first. It is ratcheted on the top one, and the lower one is not ratcheted. So you can get full bend. Just make sure you bend the top one first. Going down the feet are articulated. Sometimes the heel comes detached. So here's the heel. It does move with the foot. But if you grab the foot and rotate it, sometimes it comes, yeah, like that. It comes detached. Not a big deal. I just want to mention you have to rotate it at the heel and not at the toe. You can kind of push it together. That'll kind of solidify it more. You can also rotate the toe if you want. All right, now let's take a look at the accessories. First off, we get the arm blasters done in this blue and black paint. It does unpeg from here. I'm not really sure why, but it does unpeg. It does look nice. These will plug into the arm, so you come to the bottom here, peg that into the back of the arm, and then this will come up and peg it to the side of the arm. And those look really nice. Later I'll explain why they have this little panel here, but it really worked out nicely for them. But yeah, that looks great with the 2 arm blasters. And you get his regular blaster. Now this, I think, is just plastic color, just blue plastic. Molded, really sculpted nicely, and that'll fit in his hand. It has a little tab on the inside. It's kind of a small tab, but it does secure nicely in the hand. good looking gun, good looking blasters. You can get him kind of like, using the blasters like that. And for comparison, there he is with the rest of the team from Magic Square. And this really looks nice. I love how they go together in robot mode. I'm not going to transform them all into vehicle mode. I think when we get to the final combined mode, I will show them all together. But man, they look great together. And for the comparison, there it is next to the Oculamax version of Vortex here. And I am going to do a full comparison on these guys, but man, what a difference. I really thought, this is a great figure still, this set. It's very fun overall. But, when standing next to this, wow, what a difference. Now, I will do a full comparison, so I don't want to waste too much time here. But all right, now let's get this guy transformed into his vehicle mode. And I'm happy to report, I didn't even use a video. I just used the written instructions. They're pretty good, but the transformation is pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and start on here. We'll unpeg the guns and then unpeg it from the bottom. Set those aside because we're going to use those later at the end. Same thing on this side. Just set that aside. For the actual gun, you're going to pull this out and we can fold up the handle, and we're going to actually use this in the transformation. So set that aside as well. We'll start on the arms. So bend at the elbow, the lower elbow. Rotate this down. We'll rotate the entire hand to the outside. This is a move that I saw in the Oculamax. I'm not sure if that's just a copied thing for every version of Vortex. Rotate this down like this. There's a little slot here and a tab right there on the arms. Bring this up and tab that in. And then rotate this up and just leave this here for now. We'll end up combining it. Go ahead and do the other side. I'll do it off camera. All right, now that we have the arms taken care of, we can take care of the upper body and the backpack. We're going to slightly unpeg the backpack from here. That'll give you some room to unpeg the arms for both sides. And as you lift up, you'll see there's a panel right here. So you can fold this up and in. The head is going to rotate around and sit down like this. And you can just leave that there for now. We'll end up folding those a little bit later. Come to the back here and we can take all of this and lift this up. Just lift it up slightly so you can see what's down here. But basically, we need to get this folded out of here. And then lift this up. Fold up on these two. These are folded down. And then once you do that, you can bring this down. And that frees up all of this. You can unpeg these. You can open these up. And that will kind of open up all that center section. For now, just leave this here. I like to fold this up so it's out of the way. And just leave that up there for now. And we can take care of the lower body. Actually, we can tab this into here. So on the inside, you'll see there's a spot where these will peg in right here and here. All right, so you can kind of leave this back here and everything out of the way. And we'll take care of the legs. So the legs are definitely the more complicated part, but still, really nicely designed. So we'll come to the bottom, open up your foot, that'll unpeg it from here, rotate your toe all the way around, unpeg this panel from the side. It's pegged down on the front and the back, so just unpeg it from both sides. Rotate this around. On the inside, you'll see this panel right here, so rotate this up, open up this panel, and this will come down and peg into here to make this side panel complete. All right, so leave this up like this, and we'll come to the inside, and I'll show you how this leg works. So there's a couple of panels you got to remove to get this undone. So open this up. We'll come to the inside, and first we'll open up this puzzle piece panel. Then we'll open up this top panel, You can leave that like that. You can fold this in for now. Then we're going to open up this panel here. On the inside, you'll see there's a tab right here. So bring this down, and this will peg in to the side of the thigh. So get that pegged in. It's actually easier to do it now just because you can access it. Then we're going to come down to here. We're going to unpeg this from the back. So this is pegged in right here. You can swing this around, slide it back to give yourself some room. This is going to come over the top. Sit right there. On the front, you're going to bring down this nose cone. Actually, before you do that, we're going to fold this foot in. Bring down this nose cone. There's a little peg right here that's going into a tab on the bottom of the foot. So bring this around and tab that in. Right, here's how we're looking. This entire leg is going to accordion back and sit like that. You can close up the thigh, and we're going to bring this panel back here, slide it forward, and then this will tab in to the side on the top and bottom. And make sure you get this tab in here. This should sit flat and tab into the side of this right here. So line that up and get that tabbed in. Nice smooth connection there. On the inside, we can bring this back, and this should tab in right here and make a connection there. All right, so that's one side done. Going to this other side is exactly the same. Only thing is they're going to end up tabbing in together. I'll show you that. All right, now that we got both legs transformed, we can tab them together. So give it a squeeze on the top and bottom. These two panels are also tabbing together, and it should form a nice thing. Before you actually squeeze it all the way, we're going to take this gun piece. There's a little clip, it goes one direction, so this is going to go in here. And I think this is the same way they did the legend scale, but this will slide into there and then close the nose around it to make that. And give it a nice squeeze, make sure it's nice and tight. So it should look like this. Right. Bring this forward now, and this will come up, tab into here, and on the front, I think it just sits down onto this tab right here. So there's 3 tabs you're going into. And make sure you hit them all. There we go. So here's how you're looking. All right, now we'll take care of all this back here. So open this up, accordion this out, fold down this panel, tab this into the side, slide this in so it's flush, fold down the wheel, fold down the wing, and kind of make it straight. Lift this up, rotate this propeller so you get, 2 pieces. Just rotate it down until you get across. And that's one side. So now this other side is a little bit different, so I'll show you this. Fold this out, fold that out, fold down this panel right here, tab in this little panel here, slide this in, straighten up your wing. Then we're going to bring all of this up, and this is going to end up pegging in to the back. So fold this up and fold this up, and it should end up like this. You can see there's a peg right here. Just peg that back a little bit in, but not all the way, because this front has to go around this clip right here. So bring this up and make sure these are all the way in. There we go. Then bring this down so it sits in here, and then wrap it around that little clip and then squeeze that together. So it'd be nice and flush here. All right? This will come together and tab together. There's an over-under tab here, so I recommend you open up this right here. Then squeeze it all together, get it all pegged and squoze. You can see the head sits down and covers down that little hole. Then you can close this. That'll close on top of that puzzle piece right there. Why is that not going? There we go. And then you can bring these engines back down and they'll fit right there on the back. For the propellers, you can open this up. It should kind of click into place so it makes a cross. Then you're going to open up these propellers one at a time. So ends up like this. Lift up on the rotor blade so it sits up like this. And last, we're going to take this, and this is going to peg into the side of the wing, or I guess the tail. So it'll look something like this. And same on the other side. We'll peg this in back here. And that should fit in, you know, nice and square. All right, there is Tornado in helicopter mode. And it looks phenomenal. They did a great job. They really captured this guy's look from the cartoon. I'll put that there. And yeah, it's just, they nailed it. It's very clean throughout. You know, there isn't a lot of kibble anywhere. Even these guns, you know, I don't think anyone's got these guns right before. You know, where they're out on this little fin. Pretty much all around throughout. I love the engines. I think they did a great job on the engines. Quad engines. Here's the bottom. There's a little bit of kibbliness here, but you're not really going to see this. You know, a little bit of robot stuff. But other than that, it's ridiculously clean. You do have spinning rotor blades. It does get caught up a little bit. But it does spin. And then these rear ones also spin. It does have landing gear 1, 2, 3. It does roll on those landing gear. The gun, just perfect. I mean, the way they did it, how it just locks in there. You do end up with this extra piece here. I haven't found a spot to put this. I don't think there's a place to like tab in it or anything, but I mean, it's just, it looks very, very nice. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And nice big helicopter, fits in nicely with the Masterpiece scale. And I don't have the other Combaticons for Magic Square in vehicle mode, but it does fit in nicely with those as well. I really like the size of this helicopter. All right, now it's getting transformed into combined mode. And we do get this new piece here with the head and the chest. It looks really nice. Pretty much fully painted. And we got this piece before, I think with Onslaught. So you can see there's 3 pegs here and 2 smaller pegs down here. Just line those up, get that tabbed in. And then we can set this aside and we'll use this a little bit later. So now we will transform this guy. We can go ahead and unpeg these guns from here. And we can fold up the rotor blades. And then you're going to make it kind of like an X like this. And then we can push in on this. But there's still more work to do, so that might move on you, but don't worry about it. So we're going to come to the sides here. We're going to open up these panels here. And you may need to just undo a lot of this just to get to that. Actually, I recommend. So open this up. Fold these out. Fold this up. Lift this up. And now we can unpeg this from here and here. That's all just so we can get this panel unpegged from here. I know, it kind of sucks, but that's what you had to do. Rotate it forward. Same on this side. Rotate it forward. And what we're going to do is lift this up. So you're going to slide this section back on these sliders, flip it over, and I want to make sure that goes all the way. Oh, and we have to fold these out. And let's see. Yeah, so slide it forward and then flip it back down. And on the other side of this, you'll see there's 2 pegs and 2 tab slots. So get this pressed in right here. It's a pretty tight fit. It actually does remove a little bit of paint. It's inside a peg, so you're not going to see it, but I just want to let you know that it does remove paint. And then we're going to get this tabbed into the side of here. So get that pegged in there. On the bottom, sits in nicely there. Same on this side. Bring this, peg that in, peg that in. All right, so here's how we're looking. I do think we've got to remove this gun here, so you can just pop that out. Set that aside. And on the back here, there's a little flip down panel. I'm pretty sure that is for combine mode, just so you don't see, it looks black. But I believe that's the back of it. All right, now we can bring all this back down, bring this tab, that back in, bring this back down, and tab that into the sides of that little clip, just like we had it before. And then bring those down. On the back here, you can kind of do whatever you want. I've been folding these up. All right, there is Tornado in combine mode, and pretty easy transition from vehicle to combine. Now, I'm a little confused because, you know, the G1 image and the Magic Square teaser of the render has it like this. But you can't bend the elbow this way. You'd have to rotate it this way. And now you get the double jointed elbow due to the hip skirts there. But I don't know. It's a little confusing because this is how it's going to look. Here, let me collapse that back up. This is how it's going to look if you have the arm rotated to the front. But you really want this on the front panel. But then you don't get the rotation there. So I'm not 100% sure if I have that right, but it seems like it because that's where the elbow would bend. But man, what a nice arm mode. Now there is this joint here, and we did get the torso, so you can actually put this together. And you got to put it on this side, of course, and this will slide right out of here. It's a pretty simple connection. You know, the hardware is pretty light, but it works. You know, you can bring the arm up on that ratchet, down on that ratchet. You can rotate it around. And it's pretty light. My only issue is sometimes it comes off, but that's if you pull it off. And then you can bend the elbow, you know, get a double joint. So I think it's gonna work. It just feels a little bit on the light side. I guess that's a good thing for a combiner. You know, it's not gonna have a lot of weight, so it's not gonna fall down. All right, and for size comparison, there it is next to the Zeta Toys Bruticon, their version of Bruticus with the die-cast chest here. And you could see it's quite a bit bigger. Now, I don't know how the height, so I just have it up on a stand here. I believe it's going to be taller for sure. You can see the head already is bigger than the Zeta. The chest plate itself is bigger. The arm is a little bit bigger. So I think it is going to be a taller Bruticus. Now, we are going to get the tune set. So you get a tune chest and the tune feet. And I'm not sure if there's anything else in that set. But, I mean, this is going to be a really big and good-looking combiner. As far as I could tell, you know, I'm excited for this. So, final recommendations on the Magic Square Tornado. This is a fantastic figure. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5 strong recommendation. This is one of those triple changers that, you know, we usually say one of the modes suffers. This one, it doesn't suffer in any mode. All 3 modes work. The transformation is fun, intuitive. I never even looked up a video to try to get help. I just used the paper instructions. Really straightforward. Great posability. Nice weapons, appropriate. Good looking combine mode. I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. Yeah, just everything about this is great. I do think it has just enough complexity to the look, even though it does look like the Tune, to keep it interesting. And I know some of the figures had looked a little plain, especially the Onslaught. This one doesn't feel like that. It just feels like a good mix of, you know, toon look with a more mature look. And I just like how it looks. So overall, definitely recommend it. If you're in for this set, definitely you're going to want this one, of course. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.